Good evening, everybody. Hope you're well. I think we're up and running. Got a thumbs up from the unknown player, so I'm going with that's a yes. Just to double check that. Good evening, Charles. Haley Mac. Excellent. Oh, looks like we're working. So, welcome to the hopefully new and shiny and improved streaming. This is the Wednesday night. I'm sorry for not having one last week. That pesky day job got in the way. But in the meantime, we've been playing around with OBS. So we have a shiny new chat window, and just flick on over. You can see this nice little bar across the bottom. So hopefully, forgive the blatant advertising push, but have a little work on that. Excellent. Good. Okay. Well. Good evening. Right, so I can't believe we're in March already. Don't know where January and February have gone by. Forgive the headset. I'm trying to get everything set up. I've got the blue snowball wrong side ride the other day, which is really good. So I just need to make sure I get it all set up and running. Hopefully for the next one, but I'll be able to use it better in some of the recorded videos. It'll work an awful lot better. But yeah, so here we go. So first up, thank you very much for everyone who's recently subscribed to the channel. It's a pleasure to have you. Hope you enjoyed whatever video it was you enjoyed, and made sure you press that subscribe button. That's really, really kind of you. And also to my incredibly generous patrons, so you know who you are. Thank you very much. Glad to hear it. And yeah, so just on the patrons, I'm going to be editing the two tiers of the patronage slightly to sort of be a bit more realistic in my goals to one day packing in the day job and becoming a full-time model making content creator. That's what I would like to be able to do at some point, so that's something to work towards. And yeah, speaking of which, oh, here we go. Dark Flight. Almost finished my HMS Illustrious. Oh, fantastic. Found out the Merlins and Seakins are smaller than they should be. Oh, I didn't know that. How bizarre. That's a bit of a worry, but never mind. I've got mine safely tucked away out there, and wrong hand. You can see I've sort of slightly rejigged, so the Illustrious is now higher up the shelf, so you can see just above my head here. That's the recently completed Prince of Wales, so better see that in the background a bit. But speaking of support, hopefully this works. I've tried to have a bit of a tinker, so set up a online merchandise shop for Teespring. So if you really want to help support the channel and are so inclined, you can have a look at some of these. Created some t-shirts with the logo and a mug, 2 different colours, and some bumper stickers for want of a better term. So I've got a t-shirt coming through the post as we speak. Hopefully it'll should arrive tomorrow, but disappointing I haven't got it to be able to show off in all its glory today. But I'll post a link up in the description if anyone would like to have a look at that. That'd be very, very kind of you. Press the button last November. Oh, fantastic. Which video was it, out of interest? So what else has been happening over the past 2 weeks now? So yes, went to see Wales versus England in Cardiff a week last Saturday, which was fantastic. I'm in America. Yes, I've set it up so it's the shop is available in both Europe and the United States. So you should be able to. I'll tell you what. Why don't I try and put a little link up now, and you can have a look. See if it'll be a good test if you don't mind. There you go. Yes, so you should be able to order it straight through there, and it should come straight over to you. Yes, so the day in Cardiff on the Saturday was fantastic. Score aside, so not to annoy too many English people from here, but it was a really, really good day. Cardiff on a match day is absolutely fantastic. The whole city was buzzing. Had a really nice, fun lunch with my dad and my brother. Got to spend some time with my mum and my sister as well, which is great. And Wales won, which is a brilliant game. Even if you're not British, and if you ever get the chance to have a look at the game out in America, I think you'll enjoy it. It's it's a road sport. So Wales are on track for got 2 games to go, one this weekend and one the weekend after, and that should be hopefully a grand slam, which would be very exciting. Yes, I've got the blue snowball through a week or so ago, which is really good. Oh, here we go, lots of extra comments. Let's have a look. Applying the decals on the Clemencow. Bloody decal fix all over the shop. I've not used that. I'm a micro sol and micro set. I've still got the same 2 jars from when I built the. Cannot get this right. When I built the Enterprise, which will be coming up to 10 years ago now. So it lasts a long way, but yeah, it's great stuff. Any sort of decal fixer. You have to order some extra Harriers. Yeah. Total of 10 Harriers. Yeah, I think, or Trumpeter, I think, makes some good Harriers. I'm not sure now. I'm paranoid about saying whether or not they're on the right scale, but hopefully, yeah, hopefully you should be able to sort that out. Oh, thanks, Xavier. Hope you have a look, and yeah, if you'd like to purchase one, let me know. That'd be great. Scott. Yes, well, it's a good game. Let's just leave it there. I think it was a very entertaining match. So let's see how things go. You have a 1-350 Missouri, and I'm not sure what you mean by that. Sorry, and a Corsair. Ah, I see. Oh, that's very good. I like the Missouri. I know I've actually got the New Jersey and the Missouri be the exact sister ship, but I've always had an eye out for that. I do agree with us Welsh people. Definitely, Stephanie. You should do the USS Forrestal first supercarrier. Well, Xavier, if you have a look through go onto my channel and put the videos on in reverse order, I have built a 1-720 Forrestal. You can have a look at that on there. So that's really good. And let's see what else. So I'm not a massive Warhammer painter or gamer, I have to say, but I came across a really great channel over on Blackjack Legacy. So Andy, hi if you're watching. But he's a really great guy. He does 5 videos a week, every weekday, which is absolutely incredible. So have a look at that if you get the chance. But I think, yeah, regardless of the fact that I'm not a Warhammer gamer or a tabletop gamer in any way, he's a really interesting channel, really funny guy from up in Newcastle, so have a look at those. It's also got a great Facebook community. I think Facebook is a great way to be able to do this, and I highly recommend checking it out. So, oh yes, right. Thanks, Charles. A couple of those mugs. Yeah. So let this. I can change the order, and you can change the colours that you can choose from. So this is going to sort of slowly grow over time. Having my sister trapped in the car with me for about 4 hours when we went to the Wales game, and she's a graphic designer, so I was racking her brain for creative inspiration, shall we say. So in terms of sort of new T-shirt designs and various bits and bobs. So more will grow. And hi Al, hope you're well. How's all those videos of yours coming along? Seen those? Al's got some amazing videos that he's building of chips up on his channel, so I highly recommend checking that out if you get a chance. So in terms of modelling, what have I been up to? So I've posted on the Facebook page sort of updates on the Intrepid. So she's slowly coming together. So broadly speaking, the main hull is now built. It's painted. I've put a couple of coats of gloss varnish on her, and then started the. It took a while, but I sort of cracked it in probably about 4 hours, I think, in total. But putting all of the decals on the flight deck now, because it's basically a combination of white stripes, yellow stripes, and red and white stripes. I was in 2 minds whether or not to just spray it and paint it all up separately, but I. Possibly a bit later. I'm very well, thank you. I'm indeed. Thanks for asking. So I decided to go with the decaling, which is quite good. It's quite strangely therapeutic in a way, and so much so that I basically lost track of time and started late afternoon, and I think it was Saturday or Sunday, can't remember now, and just carried on through, and by the time I stopped it was dark. But yeah, carried on the next morning, so that's coming along, and then put on lots of weathering, started that process up, so sort of streaking grime on the sides of the hull and on some of the rust. So I'll try and show quickly now this, so hopefully you can have a look at this if this works properly. Here we go, so you can see some of the contents. I'm going to flip this over, so this is, yeah, getting used to OBS. So where we left off last, some of you may have already seen this. So down here I used, I ordered a pot of grey wash from Flooring Models. So this is a clay-based product. So that sort of went all over the darker grey of the flight deck, and it's pretty straightforward. I had a few comments on the Facebook page. Basically, you just slap it on with a brush and let it dry, and then give it half an hour or so in a nice warm room, and then you sort of just get a nice bit of a slightly damp bit of tissue or kitchen roll and wipe it all away, and you end up with some nice, hopefully this will work. Let's try and spin this round for you. It's very clever OBS. There we go. So the plan was all of the all of the tie down points and various bits of detail all spring out as if by magic, which is very, very handy and very clever. And then yeah, started weathering up the hull, and started off with the grime you can see here, and then adding the rusting, and then yeah, in a bit of a moment of madness or inspiration, one or the other, not sure how well it comes across, let's have a quick look, but started putting on and realising that I do remember seeing lots of reference shots where big ships like this collect algae on the side of the waterline, so I had a bit of a dark green oil paint and sort of had a bit of a go on that. It's a bit subtle, don't want to do too much more because it'll rapidly become too much, but here you can see some of the rusting. Not sure now looking at it if it's all that impressive, being very spongy, which does come on to the topic of the video, but we'll come on to that a bit later. So yeah, it's all looking good, so I'm quite pleased with the way it's come out. And then yeah, sort of in the background, I'm not sure how many videos I've put on it, pictures put on it yet, but decided to start to spray the island. Now this is sort of basically the island in its sort of pre-built, finished level of interest basically, so it's almost a bit of a shame to paint it. I think it looks quite a nice little model in itself. But then yes, the island is now grey, so Mr. Hobby Grey is the same colour as the actual main ship sides, and the antenna and mast and whatnot up the top will remain dark for now. And yeah, here's a bit more of the decaling. You can see that, so that's all coming along. So yes, there's a good one to focus on. Here we go. So in a bit of the process, some of the tie down points have sort of, I have to say, lost a bit of their white dotness, which is a bit of a shame, but I think it's an overall subtle effect. So the next stage would be to, as you've been drying for a good few days now, is put on a gloss coat and then proceed over to the weathering. Just catch up, make sure everyone's there. Oh, there we go. Crikey, lots of comments. What 2 US Marine sets from Trumpeter, throwing some different aircraft to make it. So yes, 4 of that's a good mix, definitely. Question on deck weathering. Now the decals are fixed. Once the decal fix is cured, what do you reckon my next move should be? Well, I'm in exactly the same boat. So I'm still sort of mulling it over. So I'm probably going to go with some streaking grime first, either sort of the dark dirt from Flooring Models. I've got some of that sitting right here, actually. Ta-da! So I'm going to use him and put that on first. Go straight onto the decals themselves to try and sort of tone them down a bit, because they're still very, very white, as you can imagine, and see how that looks. And then I think probably sort of start putting more of that on. I don't know yet, Charles, is the honest answer. I need to sort of have a bit of a mull it over, because there must have that scary state. I don't want to ruin everything. But I think sort of a combination, broadly speaking, of dark dirt, and then I've got some grimy, it's called Starship Filth Oil Paint, I think it is. I'll dig out the actual name, and put that in some of the corners of the deck. I think basically sort of make it all nice and dirty in the corners. And then one thing I did use back on the Enterprise was I've got some really nice dark sort of soot weathering powder. So it's quite very, very black, but I use that to sort of show where the airplanes landed. So right on the flight deck, and sort of go from there. But watch the space. Let's chat, basically. Right, I don't think they'll put the limits as a museum, since US still has the class in service. I don't know. They might do. I mean, they're talking about retiring the. I'll probably get this wrong. Is it the Truman or this one of the other carriers? Decommission that early. I think they will do. I think the trouble is being a nuclear-powered ship is what to do with the reactors. I know that the reactors on the Nimitz class aren't as lively, shall we say, as the Enterprise. So I think the Enterprise probably will end up getting turned into razor blades, sadly. But I think the Nimitz could be end up as a museum ship. Time will tell, eh? But it just takes a long time to build these things. But yeah, speaking of carriers, some of you might have seen on my Facebook page the other day that so we have two in the United Kingdom. We have two built brand new aircraft carriers, the Queen Elizabeth and the Prince of Wales, which is literally almost finished, but our government is bringing back the idea of actually mothballing it, which is absolutely ridiculous. The fact that it's very, very nearly completed, actually fitting it out at the moment, I believe, and I think they're going to sort of possibly mothball it, put it into a reserve fleet, and then maybe sell it, which just is, even saying it out loud is just unbelievable. I know the Navy sold the HMS Ocean, which was the previous biggest ship, to Brazil, I believe, a couple of years ago. But that's the sort of crazy things that our government does over here. We like spending lots and lots of money over a long period of time, defending it to every available opportunity, and then when the time comes you say, actually I think we need to get some money back, so let's sell it. But not going to get into politics, let's not go there, but I think it's just a bit silly. I might have to sit over here. There we go, it's better angle. Look at all of me rather than half of my shoulder. So yes, so lots of exciting things has happened over the last couple of weeks. So yeah, so it sort of goes back to the overall topic. Oh, I have a question. Who do you think has the best carrier, in your opinion, as in country? I'm guessing. Well, I think the simple answer is have to go with the United States. The fact that we have two or one over here with limited, not limited capability. It's just one ship on its own. But I think yeah, it has to be United States. I mean, between the 9 Nimitz classes and the Gerald Ford, let alone the Wasp class, let alone probably other ones I haven't even noticed or caught on. I think just that's the simple, honest answer. France has got some nice ones as well. I know China's got some other ones coming along. But yeah, I think it's just a number game. So not bitter about it. It's just the way it is. Oh, yeah, it was the Truman. Oh, that's good. I got it right. I wish the Queen Elizabeth had Cato Bar. Not sure what you mean by that, Dark Flight. So yeah, the topic of the video is how dealing with negative comments. So something weird happened the other day. So over the course of the 2 and a bit years, I've been creating videos and posting them up on YouTube. What you do from time to time, get the odd thumbs down or a comment comes through with that's rubbish and things like that. But yeah, it sort of suddenly really turned on I think it was Tuesday morning. Yeah, it must have been yesterday morning. I won't go into details, but I think oh, it's crazy what the US could do. We already are building 2 more, the Kennedy and the Enterprise. It's a well, you know, I think it's just a history lesson basically. The Second World War almost bankrupt Britain. We poured everything into it. It took a long time to rebuild everything. You know, I think the First World War, it was Britannia still ruled the waves all the way from the Napoleon era. We had 100+ fleet of battleships, the Grand Fleet, all stationed up in Scapa Flow, and yeah, we ran out of money. America took over, and you know, that's the reason you're a superpower, really. So the comments sort of took a bit of a turn, and yeah, I get that people don't like what you do. That's fine. I get that. I can understand the thumbs down. I can understand sort of leaving, let's call it constructive criticism. And I think maybe it's just me, but I always remember my grandma saying if you've got nothing nice to say, don't say anything, which is fine, and I think that's a sensible motto to live by. And you certainly teach that to my daughter. But yeah, some of the stuff I was sort of hearing is not quite to the degree of your models are crap, mate, but it certainly made me feel that way, and it really bugged me in the course of the day. So I think it makes you think: is it the fact that you don't like what I'm doing? You're not marking it down and sort of giving the thumbs down or some negative comments? Is it the fact that you don't like the video, as in the way I've created it? You don't like the channel? You don't like, heaven forbid, me? So there's lots of things that you can sort of spin around. So yeah, just to sort of put that out, really, is it do you come up against this in the work that you share with your friends and Facebook groups and that sort of thing? Yeah, just how you deal with it, really, because I think it's quite sort of the fact that I'm even still talking about it a few days later is sort of shows, I think, how it bugged me. I mean, ultimately it's a model, it's a bit of fun. I happen to put it on YouTube. I think some other people might be interested in it. I'm always quite clear about the fact that this is not the definitive way to do anything. In the tutorials I've done, it's not the definitive way to put photo etch on or paint things or weather flight decks. It's my way. I like it. I might change over time. You learn from others. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what you have to say. People just want the trolls. They do appreciate what other people like to do. Forget the naysayers. You're doing a great job and a great service. They don't appreciate. I know. Well, it's very kind of you to say. Yeah, so it's not sort of a big ego boost. It's a hobby. There's plenty of other ways to spend free time. I know. But yeah, I think it's sort of the way that it's dealt with. Constructive criticism. Like at school, my daughter, a little spelling test. If they get it right, they get a tick. If they get it wrong, they get a dot. They don't get a cross anymore. So sort of times are changing, really. So I thought that was quite worth sharing. In the case of the green-eyed monster, they do indeed, Scott, you're absolutely right. Al, I don't believe that for a moment. You have plenty of scrubs. It will take time. Don't worry. Worry about creating nice, fun videos and enjoying it. That's all it's all about. Yeah, so I think I am very grateful and very humbled by the fact that anyone's even watching this, let alone sort of watching the videos I do create and subscribing and all that lovely stuff, and wonderful patrons and support network and whatnot. So that's very kind. So yeah, don't dwell on it too much. I'm going to keep on doing what I'm doing. Ultimately I could always just delete that comment, so it's not too bad. They did find the other day you can ban them from the channel, which sounds pretty serious. So they can rant away as much as they like. From EP, interesting name. As a ship maker, your models are good, better than what I do, though I'm trying. Well, thank you very much. I don't think it's a case of being better than others. I mean, believe me, I've seen some out there that, I think it was for the Enterprise, I've seen some that look so far beyond what I did on mine. It looks like I did it in the dark. I mean, it's absolutely breathtaking. But as you're finding yourself, you having built them yourself and know what's involved, and maybe my hands are too big, or I just lack the hand-eye coordination. It's not a case of being better than others. I think it's sort of you enjoy it, and half the trouble is, well, not the trouble, half the fun, I think, is getting it wrong and learning from your mistakes. That's the only way that I learn. Yes, a sort of open and honest fact. I am a little bit dyslexic. I got that diagnosed when I was at university, so I don't mind admitting that. So I get my words jumbled around the wrong way. So it's probably a good idea not to broadcast live to the internet and bumble. But yeah, so I learn by making mistakes and making sure that I allow time to reread everything and take your time on that sort of stuff. So yeah, especially sort of working in a creative online environment that I do at work, looking at websites and content creation and emails and stuff. So it's got to be right. I've got to make a check. I do have a dictionary on my desk. When was the last time we saw one of those? No, thank you, Scott. That's very kind. It is in Arch. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. I'm so into this channel. I'm working on a book report while watching this. Oh, what book? What book is it? If it helps, I've shared your videos and channels with many of my shipmates. This last weekend drill. Oh, really? Literally while training aboard combat craft was just... Wow! Oh, well, Sea Soldier, if you've got anything you could send my way just out of amazing curiosity, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, drop me a message. I'd love to hear. Building the Academy Indie. It's a good fit in doing the painting now. Oh, fantastic. I think you have a great following and some enjoy your work. No, not justified. Yes, you're absolutely right. It is a hobby. It is a bit of fun. If you don't like it, go and watch something else, my friend. Anyway, let's leave it there. So yes, it's going to be a nice positive from now on. So yeah, so let's try and think what we need to do next on the Intrepid. So I'll tell you what, why don't I just grab something? Yeah, so I've already managed to completely almost snap off a piece of the photo etch railings that are starting to happen on the Intrepid. So I'm putting on the safety netting around the sides of the ship. Now, something really bugging me the other day. I've lost my railings for the Intrepid. I cannot for the life of me find them. I must have put them down somewhere or underneath something, so I'm going to have to order some more. But I'm not massively upset, to be honest, because the railings themselves, it's ever so slightly, I think it's a slightly different metal to they used for the rest of the photo etch parts, because as soon as you cut it off the sprue, it bends, it starts to bow, you cannot keep it straight and rigid. So I'm going to order some extra parts. I'm sort of having a bit of a scout around. I think there's a set from Sovereign Hobbies. I think it's looking like the best set. So I'm going to try and buy one of those. But I did get, so if you remember from the photo I showed you earlier, the island. So this is how the island looks now. Let's try and put that up there. I'll have to get another camera. Yeah, so it's all one colour now. So it is. I have to say, I think at this point in time, I prefer it with the photo etch on. Oh, there we go. That's a bit waving. Ooh, there we go. So yes, the next part is to basically sort of finish up some of the painting. I was a bit too missing some of the painting. God, this camera is shocking. There we go. So the Intrepid had a black front of the bridge island, so that's going to be hand painted on in black and then put on the number 11, paint those by hand. I think it's going to paint the rest of it all by hand, to be honest. And then start sort of detailing up. There's a few decals to go on, and then sort of start weathering some of the pipe work and adding some shading here and there. So that's coming along quite well. I'm quite pleased with that. Let's put him down here out of the way. So yeah, so basically the grand plan is to completely finish the hull. So get it all weathered, sealed up in terms of putting on a good couple of coats of gloss varnish, so that I can sort of then just stick the island on when it's fixed, and then move over to the bit which I'm looking forward to the least, and I always have done, is the aircraft. Came in an amazing box. It's a beautiful piece of artwork, the box itself. So I'm going to build up all of the planes for that, and I've got a couple more actually coming, which should arrive in the next few days, and I ordered some Black Dog deck tractors as well to try and fluff up the island, the flight deck. So those are going to come. So I'm going to do a little review on those because I've wanted some of those for ages. They always seem really expensive over from Europe, so I managed to find a nice deal. So I've got some of those coming to sort of put it out there, and then I'm still umming and ahhing about whether or not to put extra little sailor men on the top. I've got some photo etch ones left over from the Prince of Wales. I might use some of those and then save actual little men for the Wasp, which you can just see on that side. Just see poking down there. So that's the plan with that. So it's going to take a while. Still not there yet, but I think can definitely see round the bend of the finishing line. So looking forward to getting that on. And then, hello War Game, hello. Oh, so catch up with the comments. Where were we? Have you ever thought of doing HMS Nelson? Yes. So the Nelson is being released by Trumpeter a bit later on this year in 1 to 350 scale, which is really good. I think the only time I've ever seen it before is the 1 to 200, which is massive. I wouldn't be able to fit it in the room, I don't think, or let alone on the table. So yes, I quite like to do the Nelson. Bit of a queue. I think, yeah, sort of grand plan, if I haven't caught up for a while, is there we go. Finish the 1, finish the Intrepid. 2 is move on to the Wasp. I'm going to make a diorama, so cut the bottom off so it's a water line, put in some water on a piece of wood, paint the water base, and then put on 3 LCACs or amphibious hovercraft, a few little smaller boats, and I've got a bit of an idea rattling around in my head for a bit of a March of the Valkyrie Apocalypse Now, that famous scene with the napalm, smells like victory scene, but with ospreys, something like that. And then move over to the Nimitz, which I still haven't finished, so I need to do that. So I want to get that done in the summer. And yeah, my white whale or holy grail is the Yamato. It's a big push over on Patreon initially. So yeah, if anyone still consider doing that, that'd be great. Then possibly we're into uncharted territory, so after that it could well be the Nelson. Do you have anyone build it on a time? Mostly, yes. So what I'm going to do, I think, once I finish the Intrepid, I'm going to do the Wasp. So I think basically sort of try and sort of mix it up a bit. I don't know if any of you have seen the video. Madman Shipyard over in America was kind enough very end of last year and arrived early this year to send me a 3D printed Star Trek starship, which is amazing. I love a bit of 3D printing, so it's very kind of me. So I put a video up of the unboxing of that. So I think I'll probably build that at the same time as the Wasp, just to sort of break things up a bit, because it'd be sort of like 3 ships in a row, taking in mind the Prince of Wales up there, to try and sort of mix it up a little bit, just a change of doing something else. I know you do a couple at a time, Al, which is commendable. I'm not sure I can spread my brain that way. I have a mad idea of buying a 1350 Arizona from Hobby Boss. Heard that is a really horrible model. I've heard exactly the same thing. I know that there's 2. There's a Hobby Boss, and I want to say Mini Hobbies, I think maybe. I know it's not a very, very good kit. I know they do a really good 1 to 200 one, but again that's massive and they're really expensive. I don't know how they managed to get away with charging this blimmin' expensive prices, but yeah, an Arizona would be nice. But I think I'd like to do a few more British ships. I think I've got a good feeling after building the Prince of Wales. I think I'm going to at some point get a Type 45 destroyer as well. I think throw that in there. And some photos of the Hornet. An Intrepid. I was being awarded a medal, so there. I would very much find those useful, Sea Soldier. Yeah, if there's any way of getting those to me, just have a look. That'd be fantastic. And some island photos of the Midway with the platform. Ooh, yes, please. Yeah, made the Arizona. They had fit problems. Yeah, I think it's the. For what I've seen, it's the walls of the deck are really bad, not just in terms of like mold quality and amount of detail, but they just don't fit. I've read somewhere. Does that sound familiar? Pour from? I'm gonna have to sort out this camera, aren't I? keep leaning over here. So yeah, so lots to do. Yeah, I really want to try and sort of, I think it's lost a bit of time last year having jumping from one model to another, flitting around and not actually progressing them. So I'm sort of making a really determined effort for the sheer fact that I've had the Nimitz for 18 months and I still haven't finished it, mostly, and that's going to be an even more complicated build than the Prince of Wales, the Intrepid, or the diorama of the Wasp. So the diorama of the Wasp is basically a test to see what I need to do for the Nimitz, because I'm going to also put that on a display base. Obviously a much bigger piece of wood display base than the other one, than the Wasp, but I think it's going to be quite a good challenging thing to be able to do that. Let's have a look, make sure that's where we're working. Yeah, so that's the plan, Stan, as they say. So yeah, so it's all coming along. So yeah, just what a sort of next update. We were looking to do the Exeter. I might do the Exeter, yes. I did see, I think it's Type 23 destroyer when we went down to Portsmouth. Yeah, the Type 45 is always on the list. I think I'll probably end up doing the HMS Dragon because A, I know I said this before, A, it's called the HMS Dragon, and B, it's got a dragon on the front, on the bow. I mean, come on, you've got to build a ship with a dragon on it, surely. The main mast, I bet they were. Yeah, it's a shame. It's just funny how they can get so completely random. Like one of the comments I had on the Facebook group is, yeah, about the Intrepid. So the antenna, the photo etch antenna that come with the kit are wrong. I have to admit, it didn't occur to me to look up on some reference photos whether or not the shape of the antenna is wrong. I mean, we're talking a rectangle versus a oval shape. I wouldn't have noticed, I'd be honest, but I don't look into it in that much detail. It's more from a hobby point of view, as we said at the start of the video. So there's plenty of room for growth, and make it your own and make it. I'm not a rivet counter. Some people are absolutely adamant about making any model they do exactly as much of a replica as humanly possible. But you know, and it sounds daft, but the only people that get to see these are you guys, which is great. Things I put on Facebook. My wife and daughter, who occasionally come in and go, "Oh, what are you doing, Daddy?" Or "What are you doing, dear?" That sort of thing. So I can live with that. So yeah, so that's great. I think probably we'll also let you know, I think I'm probably going to do a live stream, I think now every other week. I'm a bit conscious, I'm sort of taking my time a little bit slower than I wanted to with the build of the Intrepid, so I think using my sort of 2-hour window on a Wednesday evening, at least for the short term, is probably going to be a good thing, just so I can crack the... Thank you very much, Al, take care. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, so I think doing the live stream every other week will just give me a bit more time to have more of an update for you. It should be nice. So yeah, I think, you know, I haven't got a set deadline to try and get these things finished. I just want to sort of keep cracking, because I have to be honest, I don't really want to do the aircraft of the Intrepid. I've never liked those, and I've got these lovely deck tractors to come. So I'll do a video on that. See if I can quickly show you. If I can find it. Bear with me. Here we go. There, hopefully you can see some yellow deck tractors on a blue background. So yeah, this is a set I've ordered. So actually slightly frivolous and ordered 2 sets. So one will be for the Intrepid and the other one will be for the Nimitz, so I save those behind. So yeah, so I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into those. So little resin pieces, they're not very big obviously, but they are blimmin' awesome. I really like those, so looking forward to getting those. So hopefully they'll arrive in the next week or so. I know they're on their way over from Germany. They're in Dusseldorf this morning, so that should be good fun. Thank you, Charles. Thank you very much again for everything, and speak to you soon, buddy. Good luck with the French carrier Clemenceau. Yeah, so that's it. So thank you ever so much, everyone. Yeah, and it'd be yeah, if you get to have a look at the small but slowly growing list of merchandise, that'd be great. I know we all like a cup of tea or a coffee, and if you fancy supporting the channel and buying purchasing one of those and having a cheers every now and then, that'd be amazing. Yeah, and I'm going to rejig the Patreon page, so it'll be basically a simplified version, just a bit overzealous, I think, a bit too keen when I set it up. So in essence we have two tiers. One is just to I support the channel, that's great, thank you very much. In essence sort of donate, I think, sort of $2 to I'm calling it buy me a pint, basically, at the end of the month, for getting all this content out for you guys, and putting my heart on my sleeve and talking to you on a Wednesday night live on the interweb. And then a slightly higher tier, maybe up to sort of $10 or so, but it'll be bit more involved and have a bit more interaction on that way. So if you have, again, have a look at that if you are so kind. But yeah, thank you ever so much for all the fantastic comments. I had no idea that people out there were sort of watching my videos. Like you said, Sea Soldier, that's amazing. So I think if you want to send anything on, probably the Facebook page is probably the best way. If you can have anything, I'm just curious, and that'd be amazing to have a look at. I'm really looking forward to if you can get anything over, that'd be fantastic. So yeah, so I'll put a pin in next week, do the next one 2 weeks time. Going to, not this weekend, the weekend after, going to see Captain Marvel, looking forward to that. So I'm trying to see that with a friend of mine, and yeah, have some good work on the Intrepid. I should have everything built, sorry, everything I've ordered, beg your pardon, arrived by then, sort of crack on and give it some decent sized updates. So thank you very much, everybody, and yeah, it's great to hear from you all and speak to you all. Not doing it all bad by the sounds of it, so those negative comments, boo. But yeah, that's great, so thank you ever so much. And yeah, the next video I do, sort of regular upload video, I'll use the shiny new blue snowballs. Hopefully the audio quality will improve, but yeah, just drop me a note if there's anything you want to have a look at, that'd be great. And I think we'll leave it there then. So thank you very much, everybody, and hope you have a great week, over the hump day, as they say, and happy modelling, and speak to you soon. Alright, thank you, bye bye.